Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and on today's video we're taking a trip back in time to a year ago where I had not one but two very big book hauls, and whether or not I actually read any of them. Last winter my partner Ren, aka the Reading Ren, came to visit me over in the UK, and we went on quite a few book sprees, and I ended up with a huge pile of books. Now, I don't very often do haul videos, so it's not very often that I go through these kind of things, but I thought today it would be interesting to do that and go through my hauls and see how many of them I read. In previous years when I've done these kind of things, I've gone back and I've been like, oh, for every 5 unread, I'm gonna, you know, DNF or unhaul something, or punish myself in some way. I don't really know if I'm gonna do that, but I am gonna keep an eye out on the ones that I've unread and maybe choose a few that are gonna be like, you know, for every 5 I've got to select one and aim to sort of have it as like a bit of a reading challenge. But you know, this is more just an interesting to see how much have I actually read. I will have the video on my phone, so I will pop it up here. So much easier doing it this way than it used to when I was screen recording. And let's find out, did I actually read the books that I bought last year or that were bought for me? Okay, here we go. I haven't got the sound on, so I can just skip through. That pile was so big, it was ridiculous. Okay, so let's have a look. What have we got? Starting off strong with an unread. I feel like this is going to be very much what happens a lot. Mort by Terry Pratchett, unread, still waiting on my shelves, and I bought that specifically to read this year. Okay, this one is unread, but only because I decided to wait until the final book came out this year so I could read them back to back, and as the final book only came out a couple of weeks before I got here, I am saving those and I'm hoping to get to both Gold and Goldfinch in February when I return to England. Under Your Spell by Laura Wood, I read, I gave it 5 stars, and it cemented her as an auto-buy author. I've read a lot of Spy Family this year. I actually read this, Shiver by Junji Ito. I read it. Unfortunately, I gave it 3 stars. I loved the art, didn't love the actual story. Ren's copy is right here. My copy is over on the desk, and we literally discussed this book this morning, saying that I was like, oh, we should really get to this book because we can't leave it for 2 years unread. So we've decided that Christmas Eve this year, there's no sort of family obligations and there's no plans for Christmas Eve, so we're just gonna read and start that book. But it is unfortunately unread as of right now. Cat Who Taught Zen, still unread. I've just not felt inclined to pick it up. I'm wondering if I should just unhaul it. Alright, unread only because I'm still on volume 2, and this was one that I picked up because it was on special. Zara, Guardians of the Galaxy. I was meant to buddy read this with Chelsea from Chelsea Zhao. We planned it, I think, 2 months in a row, and then we never got around to it, and we both went, should we just save it till next year? So that one is planned, and there will be a buddy read of it, just not right now. Ooh, Shanghai Immortal, I read this, I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really understand why it has gotten quite a lot of dislike and hate, because I was like, well, when you bear in mind that the main character is essentially, she might be 100 years old, but in our world, that's still sort of a teenager. Her behaviour and her personality makes sense and it's far more enjoyable, but I think, I don't know, people just seem to not like that immaturity, and I didn't like it, I didn't love it, but I still really like the story as a whole. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, I have read this. I read this back in January. I started off not liking it. By the end of it, it was 5 stars and had me crying, so it's definitely one that I recommend and I absolutely loved. I'm not counting this one because I'm going to count it as read, but I had already read it, and that's why it got hauled onto my shelves, was like to have it as like a trophy buy. And that is the Anime Chef's Cookbook. I really did enjoy it. I still maintain that it's great. Have I made any of the recipes from it a year later? No, but I am going to make that a priority next year. I want to set myself a little challenge to try at least every other month to try one of the recipes in there. Mao Volume 3 I have read. I read the first 3 again this year, so I am definitely making my way quite well through that series. And then I just saw Ex-Yakuza and Stray Kitten was the next one. I have read that. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. Oh my god, I completely forgot to add this to my favourite manga video for the year. So this one was so joyful. It was so cute, so wholesome, and I absolutely want to continue it. It was just watching this big badass Yakuza acting like a soft little kitten around this little girl. So cute. I just loved it. And the way at one point there's danger and he turns it into a game for her while he takes out the danger. It was so good. So good. 5 stars. Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. I have read that. Okay, tomorrow for reasons I unhauled and I will not be reading, and I don't want to support that author, so we'll just swiftly move on from that. Conventionally Yours, that was a gift that I got from one of my bookish groups, so thank you so much. And I did read it. It was the first thing I read in 2024. I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars and it was such a good read. It was so fun and I still think about it now and again. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed that one. I'm actually doing so well with my reads, but I'm scared for the second half of this video. Like when I do the second video, I'm scared. Christina Lauren, The Soulmate Equation was a gift from Chelsea. I read it, didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked, but it was still a perfectly fun time. It was one of those sort of read it in a day quick reads. And then we have Saint's Blood, But Night Shadow by Sebastian de Castell, But Night Shadow, which is the final book in that series. I have not yet read, so I am counting that in the unreads. Shadow of the Wind, I think I've decided I'm not going to read and I have unhauled officially. The Fiancé Fast by Alexandria Bellefleur, have not started, have not gone near, so that's definitely unread. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren was a DNF, and after then reading The Soulmate Equation, I've worked out they are not authors for me. A Man Called Uwe, for emotional well-being, I haven't yet read. I don't even remember picking this one up, so I'm just going to say unread, and I don't, what is it? Alan Garner. I don't even know if that's even on my shelves. Like, I think I borrowed it off my dad. It might have gone back to him. We have Claire Keegan, Small Things Like These, that I planned on reading for Christmas and I was going to bring to Australia because it was so small, and then forgot. So that is definitely unread and will now wait until next Christmas. The Switch by Beth O'Leary, I have not yet read. Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. After various discussions and things that I've heard from various people that I love and trust, I've decided Tessa Bailey is not going to be an author for me, so I have unhauled. I had 3 books of hers, I've unhauled all of them, and I no longer have any plans to read any of her books. This winter, Alice Oseman was another one that I had planned to bring with me to Australia and forgot, so again, have not read. Emily Henry, You and Me on Vacation, which I think is also called The People We Meet on Vacation, and that one I have not yet read. The Witches at the End of the World is one that I have not yet read, but I do have plans to get to it quite early next year. I was doing really well with my reds and unreads, and now I'm doing really badly. I said I was scared for the second half. Okay, that is the end of that haul. So there was one more video, which was Winter Haul Part 2, which was my birthday, the trip we did to Edinburgh, and then just a couple of extra things like my first kind of pre-orders for the year and stuff. I feel like this one's going to be even worse than the first one. I'm scared. I'm scared, people. Thames History, I think I DNF'd it and have unhauled it, so I'm just going to count that as a DNF rather than an unhaul. Tall, Dark and Dead, I have not read. Strong Female Character, one of my best books of 2024, and was a real eye-opener for my own discovery and my own journey and self-discovery of my own autism. The Secret Life of an Uncool Mum, I have not read. I think I just picked it up a bit on a random whim because I got it for like £2. But now I'm like wondering if I should unhaul it because I've never really thought about picking it up. So that's one that's going to be on a potential unhaul for next year. The Bookshop and the Barbarian was a gift from Shah from Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. I have not yet read that, but it's another one that I do have a vlog planned next year to read some more cozy fantasies, and that one's going to be on that list. A Sign of Affection I have read, and that one is featured in my favourite graphic novels and manga for this year. The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, volumes 2, 3 and 4. I have read all of those. It's now also one of my all-time favourite graphic manga series. Okay, I accidentally skipped a couple. Our Not So Lonely Planet travel guide I have read, and I do plan on continuing the series. Cat Plus Gamer volumes 2 and 3, I've read both. Unfortunately, I've ended up DNFing the series because even though it was cute, I just felt it didn't really have any substance beyond being occasionally cute. So I have read those, but the series is now a DNF for me. Spy Family Volume 2, I read. The Bone Library by Jenny Fagan is a poetry collection I have not yet read. Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, I have not read. The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe, I have read, and unfortunately I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted. It had a creepy dark gothic vibe, but the plot was really lackluster and the characters were boring me, so I have decided to DNF that series. Psalm for the Wild Bill I read, I loved, and I really want to get to book 2. Ren owns book 2. It's right here on the shelf behind me, and it is tentatively on my January TBR, so we shall see how I get on with that. But I did read it and I loved it, and I didn't expect to. Crucible of Chaos by Sebastian de Castell I have not read because I haven't finished the Greatcoat series, and you do need to read the Greatcoat series before you read this, but it still counts as unread. Sensory Life on the Spectrum I started reading it the day I got it. I gave it 5 stars. It was incredible, and is another book that is fantastic for autism rep. Your Name Volume 1 I have read. I enjoyed it enough that I want to continue. Starting to do pretty well again. She says, and then immediately gets an unread. Problem with Perfect by Philip William Stover, unread, but desperately want to. I think that was it. Okay, and that was the final one. I'm actually so proud of myself. I actually did a pretty good job, not the best job, but a pretty good job at reading the books that I hauled in like the last 12 months. So I'm actually really happy with that. I do still have a few that I've seen there that I'm like, okay, I really need to start prioritizing, or if I'm not going to prioritize, they need to maybe be on hold. But yeah, I'm actually really, really happy with that, and I'm pleased with that progress. Let me know in the comments, how have you done at reading the books that you've been hauling? I seem to be doing reasonably well, as it shows there. I'm reading about half of the books that I'm hauling, so I'm really happy with that, because in previous years that number has been far lower. So let me know how you are at reading books that you purchase. Are you a put them on the shelves and eventually you might get to them, or are you a as soon as it comes in you get it to read it straight away? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. Please don't forget to check out my Patreon, which is linked below, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye!